Hey, it's Dan Morales. This is Homebuyer Radio. This is episode, I believe, 121 or 122. It's really bad, but I lost count of the episodes, so it is what it is, right? Hey, what I want to talk about this week is I want to talk about Zillow, HomeLight, Trulia, all of these online website services that many of you go to for real estate information, and you trust them, right? NerdWallet and all these Lending Tree and all these other online resources that you think are there to help you. Okay. Now, many of those websites are websites that provide content, but ultimately what they are is they are oftentimes a lead generation website, meaning that their ultimate goal is to be able to capture your information and to try to steer you to a either realtor or a lender who is willing to pay them for that information. Okay, Zillow has extorted realtors, if you will, for a number of years. But basically, what Zillow does is Zillow will capture a lead and they will try to push you to one of their premier agents, who pays them for those leads. Same thing is true with a Lending Tree or something like that, where these are all companies that at the end of the day, what's happening is they're generating your information and they're selling it. Okay, you're plugging in your information, you're thinking you're going to get something of value in return, and they're going to turn around and sell your information to whoever the highest bidder was. Right? In the case of Zillow, in many markets, Zillow does what's called an auction market, right, where they auction leads off to the highest bidder. That doesn't mean you're going to get the best realtor or the best lender. You're just going to get the person who was willing to pay the most for the lead. So a lot of times people go to these resources thinking that is the best source of information for them, when in fact it oftentimes is not the best source of information for you. If you're looking for a house, your best source of information is always going to be your local association of realtors MLS system. That is the most accurate, up-to-date source of information, is the local MLS system for that part of the country where you're located. And there's probably hundreds of those that are out there, but you can certainly find your local MLS system. I know for us here in the western part of Michigan, you can find it at Swimric, which is SWMRIC.com, or at GRAR.com, which is GRAR.com. But you can find pretty much all of the properties that are listed in western Michigan on those websites. And that is the most accurate, up-to-date information that you're going to find that's out there. A lot of times people are surprised to go to Zillow or Trulia or something like that and find that the information that is available on those websites is either wrong, inaccurate, or it's outdated, if you will. Okay, so if you want the most accurate information, you want to go back to your local Board of Realtors website. If you've got a really seasoned, strong realtor that you're working with, they're going to get you plugged up, into that website anyways. But they're also going to set up, if you will, a profile for you. That profile will kind of have what your wants and desires are. They'll get that set up, so that way, as soon as something hits the market, you're going to get that information sent right to you. You'll get that the fastest working with a good, reputable local realtor who can go through and spend some time to really understand what you're looking for, what your needs are, and help to guide you in the right direction, as opposed for you trying to do it on your own. Okay, right? If you go try to do it on your own on Zillow or one of these other websites, yeah, you can put in information, you can try to set up profiles and all this other stuff, but you're not always going to get the most accurate information. If you're somebody who's looking to buy for the first time, you are in a very competitive marketplace in many cases, and if that's you, the last thing you want to have is old information. You don't want to be behind the game, if you will, and lose out on properties because you're getting information that's old. And so that's something else to consider when you look at, let's say, Zillow, Trulia, or some of these other sites. One of the other ones that I've seen a lot lately, right, and you're starting to see this stuff too, okay, and this is something else that really it concerns me, and this has more to do with somebody who's looking to sell a property, okay? Oftentimes somebody who's buying a house is somebody who's going to sell a house too, right? The other area of concern I have is when it comes to, a company like Zillow or I think it's even HomeLight is starting to do this as well too, is they'll buy your house from you, right? Hey, forego the hassle of selling your house. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to do anything to it. We'll just come in and buy it from you. It's kind of like going into a car dealership and trading in your car. Oftentimes you go trade in your car at the car dealership, you are not going to get anywhere close to what that car is worth if you just sold it on your own. But you can make the argument, oh, hey, but I got the convenience. I didn't have to go through and, I was able to sell it. I didn't have to try to go sell it to anybody else. I didn't have to show it. I didn't have to list it with a realtor, blah, blah, blah. Well, when it comes to, selling your house, the last thing you want to do is leave thousands of dollars on the table because you took the easy way out. You went to Zillow and you said, oh, hey, great, give me an offer on my house. And they make you this really lowball, ridiculous offer, and you take it, and then you sold your house for far less than what it was worth. And that's typically what you're going to find when you look at these companies, whether I think HomeLight was the other one I just saw doing this recently. And I have a different beef with some of the stuff HomeLight advertises. That's a big lead generation source, and they promise to get you connected, absolutely free of charge to some of the top producing realtors in your area. When I did that myself, some of the agents that they gave me were not the top producing realtors in this area, and some of them were ones I would definitely not recommend to a client. So when if you don't know where to go to find a good realtor, right? Talk to somebody who's bought a house. Parents, family members, who's bought a house. What was their experience? Did they work with somebody who was good? Talk to coworkers, friends who have bought a house and had a good experience with the agent that they worked with. Ideally somebody who has some experience as part of this process, because that's super important too. Who can help guide you through this process when it's all said and done. But the gist of this week's podcast is, even though these online resources are available and they're quick and they're easy to find, they are generally not going to be the best resource for you when it comes to getting ready to buy a house, because either the information is dated, or it's maybe not the most accurate information, or it's just you're going to get sold to the highest bidder when it's all said and done. When in all honesty, what you're looking for is somebody who knows what they're doing and they're going to take good care of you as part of this process. Hey, my name is Dan Morales. I lend in all 50 states. Actually, most of the 50 states I lend. As a bank, we lend in all 50 states. So most states we lend, and most products are available in most states. And I would love to help you out. Hey, that's the whole reason why I do this podcast is I try to grow business by doing this podcast. And I think the best way to do that is to educate you, right? Is to help you understand, the fact that we are different than most of the lenders out there. We actually know what we're doing. I've been doing this since 1991. I've got a ton of experience in pretty much every facet of lending, whether it's construction loans, or it is self-employed borrowers, or it's somebody who owns multiple investment properties, or funky or unique properties, or funky or unique income situations, or funky or unique employment. I think I've seen it all in my 28 years of doing this, but I'd love to help you. That's the whole reason why we do this podcast. You can find me online at danmorales.com. That's DANMORALEZ.com. Phone number is 616-931-4629. You can call or text me at that number. Either of those work for you. And if you want to reach out via email, it's just dan@danmorales.com. Hey, thanks for listening. You can check me out on Instagram. You can find the video to this podcast on Instagram, Instagram TV. Just look for Dan the Mortgage Man, and you should find me there. But I just appreciate you guys listening. Share the podcast, and make sure you write a review on iTunes. Let other people know that this is a podcast that is worth listening to, and it is something that is going to educate them as part of the home buying process when it's all said and done. Hey, thanks for listening. And remember, North Point Bank is an equal housing lender.